Help it. From wisdom teeth, the muscles left over from our simian days, we count 15 human body parts that serve little to no purpose. Number 15. Appendix. The appendix is a small pouch found between the small and large intestines. It once played a role in digestion, as primitive humans ate largely plant-based diets. This narrow muscular tube helped the large intestine digest cellulose. It was also thought to produce small amounts of white blood cells. Nowadays, our diets consist mostly of KFC and other animal proteins, so the appendix has been made redundant, like disc-based media. It's like the MySpace of your digestive system. It's there, but it doesn't really need to exist anymore. Though that is putting it nicely. If your appendix becomes inflamed and infected, it can cause appendicitis and rupture. So in addition to being useless, it's also a ticking time bomb. MySpace is useless and DVDs are obsolete, but at least they don't kill 300,000 Americans a year like the appendix does. If you try hard enough, you can still sell a DVD player, but nobody on the black market's gonna buy an appendix. I say that, but there's probably somebody out there that really wants another appendix, and it's probably for reasons that we don't want to know. Appendectomy scars are so hot. Number 14. Coccyx. I defy anybody to say that word without sounding like they're saying Coccyx. Stupid cock jokes aside, the coccyx, or tailbone as it's called by normal people, is a collection of vertebrae found at the very end of the vertebral column. It's below the sacrum and is composed of 3 to 5 vertebrae that are either separate or fused together. Many believe the coccyx to be the remnants of our distant ancestors' tails. These tails are said to have aided with balance and communication. However, our hominid ancestors lost the need for tails when they figured out how to walk upright. That's a real shame. Tails could have been pretty useful in the modern world. You could use a remote with them, grab stuff off shelves, and they would have revolutionized Twister and the Karma Sutra. Number 13. Female vas deferens and male uterus. This double entry doesn't occur in all humans, which proves how unnecessary they are. During the first several weeks of pregnancy, fetuses are gender neutral. What would become the sperm ducts in males instead become the oophoron in females, which is basically a cluster of useless dead end tubules near the ovaries. In similar circumstances, a remnant of an undeveloped female productive organ hangs off the male prostate gland. This vestigial mutation is considered the male uterus, and it's completely useless. Which, frankly, people should be grateful for, because I don't see how you're gonna push a baby out of your prostate. It'd be like the Incredible Hulk just ripping his way out of a giant hot dog. Number 12. Paranasal sinuses. The nasal sinuses of our early ancestors had odor receptors which gave them heightened senses of smell, allowing them to detect and escape T-Rexes and saber-toothed tigers. But since we no longer have to outrun giant predators on a daily basis, we've lost the need for this ability. Your sense of smell's not going to help you catch a bus or find your keys, so it's pretty much useless. Yet we still retain these problematic mucus-lined cavities which make our heads feel lighter and warm our breath. So useful, like having taste buds in your anus. Well, okay, maybe not that bad, but you get my point. Our sinuses are basically pockets of air residing inside of our faces. Their role is often debated, and there's little to no consensus on their true purpose. All they're really known to do is give us painful sinus headaches when infected. Number 11. Body hair. Humans are covered with hair. Some of it is useful, like the hair on our heads that insulates heat and protects from sunburns, eyebrows that keep sweat out of our eyes, and male facial hair that is thought to play a role in sexual selection. However, most of the remaining hair on our body serves little to no function. Some suggest body hair makes us more aware of insect attacks and more sensitive to our surroundings, while others have claimed it provides warmth, although you'd have to be sporting a pretty serious rug on your chest to feel any real difference. In the modern world, these two functions are served by insect repellent clothes, rendering body hair unnecessary, yet people still go bald. And not chest bald, I'm talking head bald, where you actually need hair. Nature truly is a cruel mistress. If butt baldness was a thing, nobody'd go out and buy a toupee for their ass. I don't know, maybe Bigfoot would. I don't think Chewbacca would though, I think he'd just own it, make everybody look at his big bald Wookiee ass. Number 10. Plica semilunaris. You know how cats and reptiles have those kinda cool but kinda gross third eyelids? Well, so did humans once upon a time, and we still sorta have them. The tiny folded fragment of our third eyelid is known as the plica semilunaris. In addition to being a word that's almost impossible to find the correct enunciation for, it can also be found next to our tear duct. Though at this point, it's basically an evolutionary leftover that plays no role in our survival and has no effect on our vision. If it wasn't so damn tiny, it would play a marginal role in tear drainage and sweeping debris away from the eye. Though if I had my choice, I'd take a tail over that. Second pair of eyelids is pretty lame. Number 9. Auricular muscles and Darwin's tubercle. Anterior, posterior, and supraauricular muscles are the muscles surrounding the outer ear. Some animals use them to swivel their ears towards the direction of a sound, but since humans can't do this, they serve no purpose. Wiggling our ears around is a pretty neat party trick, but it probably won't contribute to our survival as a species. Another vestigial feature of the ear is Darwin's tubercle. It's a small fold of skin, a thickening of the helix that appears on 10% of people's upper ears. It's thought to be a remnant from when we had larger shaped ears that could swivel. Number 8. Subclavius Muscle. This small muscle stretches under the shoulder from the first rib to the collarbone. It plays a small role when we depress our shoulders, but it would be a lot more useful if humans still walked on all fours. Interestingly, some people have one subclavius muscle, others have none, and a few overachievers have two. Clearly, this is a non-essential muscle if so many get by without it, but I still kinda want to check to see if I have two just for bragging rights. Hey baby, you ever seen a guy with two subclaviuses? I can depress my shoulders all night. Number 7. Male nipples. All human fetuses develop nipples before they develop their gender. This is why males have them. They're a holdover from when we weren't sure which team we were going to be put on. Although it's rare and a little bit disconcerting, men like women have mammary glands and they're technically capable of lactating. Men can also develop breast cancer too, so you might want to give your tits a squeeze once in a while just to be sure you don't have it. You know what, just squeeze everything, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Just don't do it in public. Then again, there's really no stigma against man titties, so I guess go ahead and squeeze away in public all you want. Though it is kinda unfair to women, which is why the hashtag Free the Nipple campaign was created to protest a double standard. Nipple politics aside, male nipples are practically without function. They're just a sensitive, useless aesthetic trait. Though I think that big muscle guy who brags about how big his nipples are might disagree with that opinion. Number 6. Paranasal Muscle. The paranasal is a tiny triangular muscle that attaches to the pelvis in two places. It's pouch-like and thought to be a relic from when we were pouched marsupials. This is another disappointing evolutionary development. I mean, think of the additional storage we'd have if we had pouches. Pockets and clothes would be unnecessary, and women wouldn't have to store things in their cleavage. The paranasal muscle is absent in 20% of the population. Sometimes it's absent on only one side, or sometimes both. It makes no difference, though, as the lower end of the rectus will just become proportionally larger to compensate. Number 5. Palmaris longus and Plantaris muscles. The palmaris longus is a long, narrow muscle that runs from the elbow to the wrist and is missing in 11% of humans. It may have once been important for hanging and climbing, but now it's just harvested by crazed surgeons for reconstructive surgery. The Plantaris is another holdover from our simian days. Primates use this muscle to grasp things with their feet. It's often mistaken for a nerve by medical students and has disappeared altogether in 9% of the population. Finally, our fifth toes are pretty much useless. Lesser apes use their toes to grasp and cling to branches, but humans who walk upright only really need their big toes to balance. Commence shit-flinging, creation versus evolution debate now. Nerd fight, nerd fight, nerd fight, nerd fight, nerd fight, nerd fight, nerd fight! Number 4. Vomeronasal organ. The vomeronasal or Jacobson's organ is found in the olfactory system of amphibians, reptiles, and mammals. It's a non-functioning specialized sensory system in the nose used to detect chemicals and pheromones. A tiny pit on each side of the septum is lined with non-functioning chemoreceptors. It's believed that the organ was used in primitive days to attract members of the opposite sex. Nowadays, we just talk and play stupid head games and spend time and money on preening and at the gym and on cosmetics, and we use in personal dating apps like Tinder. God, that's depressing. Can we just bring back the old pheromone system? Number 3. Tonsils. Tonsils are said to be the body's first line of defense against inhaled or ingested pathogens, but like the appendix, they're better known for becoming infected and waging war against your own body. In fact, it's so easy for tonsils to become inflamed that many opt to have them voluntarily removed. Proven benefits to keeping your tonsils? 0. Proven dangers? Many. I'd say that makes it a fairly useless member of Team Human Body. Number 2. Erector pili are tiny muscles attached to our hair follicles via smooth muscle fibers. These muscles contract, causing hair to stand on end. This phenomenon is commonly referred to as goosebumps. In most species, goosebumps occur in response to fear or extreme cold. When the erector pili activate, they force hair to stand up, making animals look larger and more intimidating. Like the pufferfish, this defense mechanism is used to deter predators from attacking. Goosebumps also force fur to stand on end, trapping hair between the follicles to provide insulation. These are all useful functions, except humans don't see any of the benefits. We aren't covered by fur, so goosebumps don't make us any warmer or look any larger. They actually just kind of make us look pathetic. Number 1. Wisdom teeth are a strangely named extra row of molars that typically develop between the ages of 17 and 25. They were useful for early humans who had to chew on a lot of delicious raw plant matter to survive. However, scientists believe that the human jaw has grown smaller over time, which has left these wisdoms nowhere to grow. This doesn't stop them though, and the pushy assholes will happily bulldoze their way through any teeth or gum in their way. Because of this, they often come through misaligned and can cause painful infections if not removed. Only 5% of the world's population develops a healthy set of these third molars, and 35% don't grow any at all. If you haven't developed a set yet, watch out. They're coming to get you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.